I just had an epiphany. Pause to read. Share this video to get the conversation started because I think we women have been thinking about dating with men in the wrong way. They say we haven't been listening to them and that the things that we feel are important to them are just not important. But what is it that they have communicated to us? Let's talk about it. They're constantly comparing us to inanimate objects, cars with miles, a lock with a bunch of keys. I even saw one guy refer to women as a petri dish with spit on it in reference to dating men. I think we've been approaching it from thinking that many men see us as human, that they see us for our humanity as sentient beings that become better within this life with more experiences, but no. Think about it from a service standpoint. If you were of the mentality that you were looking for a person or thing to serve you and making the decisions from there, like if you look at this part right here, with many men approaching marriage and dating from a slave standpoint, from a marry-a-maid standpoint, finding a person whose life is there to cater to you, to give to you, to service you, to inspire you, to multiply for you. And I hear a lot of people, you know what? We'll talk about that in part 2. For now, let's just talk about what we as women have thought of as the benefits of dating an older woman. And I'm going to show you how those are actually not benefits, but downfalls to a person with this mentality. I made a list, but you can make your own. Pause to read. The things that you think are benefits like wisdom, stability, sexual experience, they're constantly telling you that they don't value those things, that those things are actually a downfall. And if you think about the flip side of it, ignorance, instability, imbalance, nobody to compare them to sexually, thus less of a demand for your own pleasure. If you think about if you were going to marry a maid or a surrogate or a nurse to take care of you in your older age, it would be better for that person to be more of a blank slate, to have less of those encumbrances to you imposing your will, your training, your etc. onto them. You think you having money, education, life experiences, standards, boundaries, you think that those make you better when in fact those are things that are getting in the way of you actually just being a blank slate which knows nothing before them, which is there to cater to his whim. And you know what, we are going to have to do a part 2. This is part 2 of older women just not listening to men. Watch part 1 for context. Think about it. Really, really think about what your life experiences have done for you. You've learned discernment, which can make you less compliant. You've learned boundaries, which can make you less cooperative. And you may have learned a standard, whether that standard came from wonderful, great experiences or setting a standard after rough or bad experiences. This standard can make you less impressed. It can make you have expectations, and it can also make you set a boundary so that if a person crosses this boundary, you will not tolerate it or you'll leave or whatever the case may be. And then conversely, think about how marriage has been positioned to you versus how it has been positioned to men. Think about your earliest memory of when you were beginning to get prepared for marriage, when they gave you the baby doll and the kitchen set and they talked to you about the different ways that you would need to be of service to your man, family, babies, etc. And I don't know if there were any lessons there about how to be of service to yourself, to self-care, etc. And then on the flip side, let's talk about how was marriage posited to men. I made a list and you can too. You can pause to read. Imagine being raised and thinking that all you have to do is go out there into the dating world, get down on one knee, give a person a ring, and perhaps some of your paycheck in a house that you would have had to live in anyway, right? Think about this, right? You're posited as being their muse, their servant, their housekeeper, their cook, sex slave, life coach, inspirer, multiplier. Think about it. and they were told, look, go out there into the dating market and you will get one of these. Imagine the great deal that that is. That you can get a human being who has no wants, no desires, no needs of their own. And if they do, you were never really taught how to care for or cater to those needs anyway. You were never even really told that there were needs. Think about the earliest memories that you have of boys trying to get something from you. What were they trying to get? Why? Were they trying to get this for your pleasure? When was the first time that you realized that women experience pleasure from intercourse? As a matter of fact, the way the conversation goes now, you would think that the only reason why you have intercourse is because a man wants intercourse from you. Imagine the dismay and disappointment to go out there into the world to find out that women have needs, that women expect pleasure, that women want sex, that women want, and never being equipped on how to care for or keep said relationship. And then your servant woman, marry a maid, leaves you.